Hi everyone, I want to welcome you to this week's episode of the Lesson in 5, a weekly program where we summarize the Sabbath School Lesson into 5 main points. If you're new around here, subscribe to our channel so you don't miss any of our future videos. The Sabbath School Lesson for this week is the Noble Prince of Peace. Peace is like an elusive dream in the world that we live. Seems the moment we have a little bit of peace, there's chaos that comes up over and over again. There always seems to be conflict somewhere. The book of Isaiah gives a promise in Isaiah 9 verse 6 of a Prince of Peace who will come and reign on this earth. Who is this Prince of Peace? That is what we want to speak about this week. End of gloom for Galilee. Have you ever wondered why Jesus in his ministry spent an awful lot of time in Galilee? Well, it's no coincidence. In fact, when we read in the book of Isaiah, we discover that the first place that Tiglath-Pileser III, the king of Assyria, invaded was the region of Galilee. This is the Assyrian king taking over the northern kingdom. So when Jesus came in his ministry, the first place to be invaded became the first place to be delivered, so to speak. As Jesus came to reign as king, he was coming to deliver the people who had been exiled first. A child for us. Jesus came into this world as God's ultimate gift to the world. God gave himself as a gift to us. For us, a child. This child is described in the book of Isaiah as wonderful, meaning the name, the character, the person of this child is too wonderful, too marvelous for us to understand. But however, we can appreciate the grandeur of the gift. As we look at Jesus, he is the supreme gift that is given for us. Jesus comes to demonstrate God's all-giving character, and we cannot help but respond to this character of God by giving our all to him. The rod of God's anger. As we read through the book of Isaiah, we notice that the people have really done an awful lot of things to make God upset. They are proud, self-serving, and really don't care about God's instructions. This upsets God. But even though God is upset, he doesn't destroy them right away, but rather he sends warnings. He tries to woo them back. And very often when we turn our back on God, God faithfully brings us warnings as a sign of his infinite grace and love for each one of us. Root and branch in one. As we read Isaiah 11, we read incredible prophecies about the coming Messiah. The Bible mentions that this is the root of David. In other words, the source of David. But then this is also a shoot of David, one of the offsprings of David. And how is this possible? We only get to comprehend this when we look at Christ, because Jesus is both the source of David and he becomes the offspring of David. The wonderful, amazing gift of the incarnation is described in the words of Isaiah 11. You comforted me. Isaiah chapter 12 records a marvelous poem, really beautiful poem that describes the coming Messiah, and it comes as close to pinpointing Jesus as any other text. The passage mentions that the Lord is salvation. Interesting to note that the name Jesus actually means the Lord is salvation. salvation, or the Lord saves. So as we read this passage, it is pointing to the deliverance that Jesus is going to bring. That thought of Jesus as our Messiah, Jesus as our Redeemer, Jesus as our Savior must be a thought that comforts us through the ages. Revelation mentions that this will be a song that we'll sing even in the earth made new. We'll sing the song of Moses and the Lamb, singing about the salvation that God has wrought for us through Christ. Well, I hope you've enjoyed this week's episode of the Lesson in 5. If you've enjoyed the Lesson in 5, remember to like, share, and if you're watching on YouTube, subscribe to our channel as well. God bless you all. Until next week.